And one thing which I really like is like everybody logging out at 6 sharp, and you really get the evenings to yourself. So whether you are spending time with family, spending time with yourself, or learning something, you really get a lot of time in the evening, I feel. So that is something that work-life balance, you really do it well here.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second part of my interview with Nilan. Last week, we talked about how she got a job in Germany, about the interview process. So if you want to watch this video, have a look. It's also very insightful. Today, we want to talk more about Nilan, how Nilan settled in Berlin in Germany. How's life in Germany going? Nilan is here for around 8 months now. She's a senior cloud engineer and Devops engineer who moved from Bangalore to Berlin last year in May 2022. So welcome, Nilan.
Hi, Kamo. Good to see you after so long.
Perfect. Nilan, we already talked about your interview process, what's important from a technical perspective, but also from a cultural fit perspective, soft skills and so on. You also mentioned in the end of our first discussion that finding an apartment was a challenge. You booked it through a platform that worked out well. So when you came here, you had your temporary apartment first, and what happened then in the next months when you came to Berlin?
So I think first the move itself is very overwhelming. So I think that happens with everybody, because especially for my case, because I was moving with my family, my kid. I was not aware of the school system, and it appeared a little overwhelming. But the good part was I had sorted the finance well. Like, before you get any bank account created here, it is really important to get a Forex card, for example, from India. I got a credit card as well, and some amount of cash, just to make sure that the first initial days was without any hassles. So I think that really helped. The Forex card you can mostly use in all supermarkets. So there was mostly we didn't have to use cash that much, because we had the cards. And also one of the very important thing is the moment you get into the job, because I already had the offer. So the next thing that I really had to get sorted was the school for my daughter. So how the schooling system work here is, I think everybody knows about the city registration that we have to do once we are in Germany. So once we do the city registration, which is I feel it's quite a simple process. You just book an appointment, take your papers, and also it is very important when you take the keys from your landlord on the first day. Also, they will give you a paper where they sign and say that this is the resident with name and the details. So that paper is very important. So make sure you take that paper from landlord when you are taking the keys. And with that, and of course the passport and stuff, we go to the city registration, and it was quite a simple process, going on time, and of course it was very smooth. They just see the documents and give you the registration. So once that registration is done, that is a very important piece of a thing, because using that I get my phone, using that I get my bank account created, using that I have to apply for schools. Generally, some of my colleagues who moved here, they said like there is a letter from school which comes to your home with the appointment time. But because I had to join the company in just 15 days of time, so what I did was every district have administration where you can write that you have a kid, and along with your the unmelding form and your child's date of birth certificate and things like that. So I wrote to them just to be a little proactive, and they booked my appointment with the closest school, which was available. So then I got an email, and it was all through email. I didn't have to go anywhere, and just getting the right email was important. Whom to write from the district. And I also got a lot of information through some Telegram groups that this people in Germany make when they when they migrate. So you get a lot of information and help from those groups. and then reaching the school on the day of appointment with all the documents that they would ask. And generally for kids who, and it's a public school where I got my kids admitted. So generally they will teach everything in German language. So for the kids, they have a special class called Welcome Klasse, where they would give training in A1 and A2 for the kids. So they will batch up kids into groups, age groups, and mostly I think within 6 months they are able to transition into normal classes. So they don't lose a year or anything like that. And they also have mostly language classes, but also some lessons of maths, general basic things. So it's like they are not missing out a year or something.
Okay, perfect. And how's the language, the German learning going for your sis-10, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I am, as I said, I already got a A1 certificate before moving, but by the time I came here, I forgot everything. So I think it's good to know. In Berlin, mostly I feel it's not very much required because mostly everywhere English would be used. But I feel sometimes it's good to be aware of at least the numbers, at least because when you are maybe a railway station or bus, they are making some announcement, you're not able to understand it, then it becomes a challenge. So knowing the language is helpful, right?
And how is it going for your daughter? Is she learning fast?
She is already A2. She passed A2 in 6 months, and she is already transitioned to a normal class now. So I think kids learn really fast.
Yeah, that's amazing. So soon, like in 6 months, she will be speaking German quite fluently, I guess.
Yes.
That's really good to hear. It's also good to hear that everything went smooth with the bureaucracy, and it's really cool. And apart from that, when you are you still living in the temporary apartment, or did you switch to a long-term apartment already?
So as I mentioned, since the school was very close to my temporary apartment, and that's why I didn't move yet to a long-term apartment. Though now I feel that if the process is not that difficult, just that when the summer break would come, that time I would like to make the move, because that time the school holidays would be there. And also it is very important to note, it is not that easy for kids to swap schools so often. So that's why I thought at least I'll be here in the apartment for a year, and then make the move when the session change would happen. Yeah.
In Germany, the summer break is always usually in July and August. It is around 6 months school break, and after that the new school year starts. So that's always a good time if you want to do changes. That's always good. Awesome. And apart from that, I mean, your first year almost in Germany. So what was new for you? What did you expect it to be like this, or what was different?
Yeah, I think the one thing you miss is the crowd. I don't know. It's like people would say the place I stay is like the mid city, but I don't really feel I feel I stay in somewhere outskirts of the city, because it's it feels so less people sometimes, and also there is no traffic. So, which is again quite a surprise from people who from Bangalore. And
wait until you move somewhere a bit more outside, then you will think you are in the middle of nowhere.
That would be one fun. But overall, I think I'm really liking Berlin. I like to visit a lot of museums. I think this is the best place to be to visit museums, because we have a lot of options here. And in terms of food also, I think initially I had struggled how to incorporate all the local things and my own recipes here. But what I have done now is I have adapted to the fruits and vegetables and things like that which are available locally here. That really helped. I feel you get accustomed to the new things, and then the transition is a bit easier. Just don't have that fixed mindset of eating only things which are available in my country. I think just having a broader perspective to it.
And tell me, is there like an Indian community where you're in touch with in
Yeah.
Berlin? Like
Yes.
you meet with other Indians, maybe from your
Yeah.
region or so on?
Yeah. So we have kind of groups here who celebrate most of the Indian festivals. So it's not in many areas, but like 2-3 groups are there where you can go and celebrate the festivals that we generally do. And it's more of like a kind of a hall which is booked, and it's like more or less you don't know anybody, but then you have a chance to communicate and just be together and celebrate things which you do back at home. So it's not like you completely miss out things. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And did you get the chance to do some holidays already? Did you travel a little bit already, or was it too busy?
So we did travel to Cologne last year because my office is based out of there. And I'm currently like remote working from home, and every 6 months I have to go to office. So, so it's like I went there, and then we did a small vacation as well along with that, and some trips are planned really in the spring. So hope that works out, because there are now a lot, and we got the resident permit like last month. So we are hoping that now we can go around the other European regions.
Yeah, and there's the Easter holidays coming for the schools as well, and in May, usually we're gonna see in May almost every week there are some public holidays, so there are a lot of breaks as well. You are already speaking about remote work. How's the new job? Like, how is that going? Is it different to India? Like, what is different? Do you like it? What do you don't like?
One thing culturally very different is like, mostly everybody is starting sharp at night, 9 a.m. Like that is the most, and some people even log in. Like I also now log in sometimes at 8:30. That's very early in Bangalore. So generally, like in my previous offices, work would start around 11ish, I would say. And because the other reason is for Indians, the German time or European time starts from there. So the meetings and things, they would get started. And one thing which I really like is like everybody logging out at 6 sharp, and you really get the evenings to yourself. So whether you are spending time with family, spending time with yourself, or learning something, you really get a lot of time in the evening, I feel. So that is something that work-life balance, you really do it well here. And team-wise, I would say it is very, especially in my company, it is, and I have heard from others as well, it is very up to you what you want to work. You decide what time you work. You decide on what task you pick up. So it is more, it's not like somebody is managing you. It's more of like you are managing yourself and your work. There is, of course, you have some supervisor where you connect every week and you update. It's not like what you have only work and just give a update. These are the things I work. It's more of a casual touch up that things are going well or not. But I think it's more of ownership mindset here, that people really trust each other, and they think that you will pick up the right things for yourself and you will work on it. So that is a different culture, I think.
And do you prefer that, or like?
Of course. Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, like I can accommodate my run during lunch, before lunch, and I can sometimes if I have an appointment or something, so I can block my calendar that time. And people are really disciplined and on time. And initially, it's little a culture change for us, especially people like. Sometimes, we feel, okay, it might be like 1 minute or 2 minutes. It's like sharp on that time it starts. So it might be a different culture here, but then we get used to this, that we do things on time and very perfect. Perfection is like one part of, I think, German culture. People are really precise about even technical documentation. I have not seen so much of precision and perfection in documentation which I see here. So I see perfection is like part of culture here. So that is one different thing. Yeah.
And what technology are you mainly working on? What is
So
important?
I am in cloud and DevOps technology. So right now, so it's a multi-cloud, all mainly GCP. Then we have Azure and AWS as well.
Okay.
And yeah, and of course, it's all DevOps. So using Terraform and do lot of GitOps is also there. So all the most DevOps use tools would be there in day-to-day work. Yeah.
Cool. Was that also different to your previous job when it comes to multi-cloud? Have you worked in that kind of environment before?
Generally, my projects were like one cloud based. It was either, I work for this cloud or the other cloud. This is slightly different that every person knows bit or you might not know, but then you figure out how to do things, I would say. So it's more of like I would say having that courage in yourself that maybe I don't know today, but I will learn and do it. I'll find a way out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Let's speak about your team as well. I mean, how many women are in your team?
So in the last job in Germany, I was the only woman, and in my current team, which is like a very big team of like 15 people at least, we are just two women. So women in cloud and DevOps are really, really less, is what I see.
Yeah, the same in all tech jobs. So if you're a woman and you're watching this video and you want to move to Germany, get in touch with us. You have really good chances. We're happy to work with you. We can just encourage you because we sometimes have the feeling that women don't have the same confidence when applying for a job. They undersell themselves, and that is simply not necessary. You have really good chances. And we need more women in tech and IT. That's for sure. Yeah. All right. And the rest of your team is nice. Like you don't meet too often. Like you're working remotely. You just every 6 months, right?
So every at least I joined last year, so I'm not very sure, but at least once in 6 months they have like a workshop or events, and they would give me a notice like 2-3 months ago. It's not very far, and my team, most of the people are not based out of where the office is. So it's like everybody is coming together in a particular event or workshop and getting together and brainstorming or having ideas together. So that is fun to go to office sometimes, I feel.
Awesome. I think we learned a lot about your first almost year in Germany now. It was really insightful. Thanks again for that, Nilan. And I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to share or you found important. I think we covered most of it.
Yeah, I think one important thing for people who are doing the interviews, one thing which really worked for me was like once you start applying, we get many calls. So for me, what I did was like I made a calendar where and every person you are talking to, you have to give 3 slots. And giving 3 slots for 1 or 2 calls is okay, but when it becomes multiple calls, it becomes absolutely unmanageable. So because I was receiving so much of calls, I had to actually make a spreadsheet. And when I was giving slots, I was marking them immediately, and I would have it handy whenever I'm talking to them, so that or at least when I'm writing an email and providing slots, I would see. And also, it's very important. Like the technical rounds are really taking out your energy. They would really go into you deep into technical discussions, and it can really drain the energy. So one thing which I did was like once, if I would have like 1 technical interview per day, not more than that. And maybe if I have to have 2 calls or 3 calls, I will keep the HR round, like for some other company, and a technical interview in the same day. So that, I can ensure the energy, my energy can be best when I'm applying or when I'm speaking. So that calendar and scheduling my time wisely was really helpful.
Thanks. Well, that's a really good advice. I mean, if you get to this luxury position where you have a lot of interviews, But yeah, that will really help other people as well. Thanks, Nilan. If you're also a cloud engineer, DevOps engineer, software developer, working in tech and IT, data scientist, machine learning engineer, or I don't know what, data engineer, get in touch with us. Watch our 30 minutes training video, which you find below this video. Have a look how we work, what we do. And then if you find that interesting, book a get to know call with us. We will assess your skills. If we like it, we move on to a second call, a video call, which we call career strategy consultation. There we will discuss things in detail. And after that, we start working with that. And then usually it takes 2 to 3 months. You will get an offer in Germany. And then depending where you are, it takes another 6 to 8 weeks to get the visa. And then we will also doing a video like I did today with Nilan. But we don't have to. Don't be afraid. You're not going to be famous if you work with us. You don't have to be. Nilan, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I hope you see you soon. We're gonna do a meetup probably in spring.
Sure.
We will invite you and all the other guys in Berlin.
That would be great.
Then we meet in person and
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice talking to you. All
Same here. You too. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.